Welcome to the Womenomics podcast. Think of this time as soul care with your hosts, Tiara and Corinne. Okay, episode 11. Here we are, and we're ending it with a bang.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for these next two episodes.
I'm excited for every episode. Like I love season 3. I enjoy it. It literally feels like we are on the phone, and we are on the phone. We are on the phone right now.
Yes, it is very grounding. It does feel very homey. Like you like kind of like talking to your homegirls on like three-way, you know what I mean? But you on mute. Did you ever do that back in the day? Like you would be like on the phone with your friends and like you'd be on three-way, but maybe you'd be on mute.
Yeah, so that nobody hit my background, girl, all kinds of stuff. Or be quiet because the third person don't know I'm on the phone. Real shady.
Right. It's the nostalgia for me. So just a quick check-in. How was your week?
I am good. I am sitting here with my scarf on my head, sipping my Starbucks coffee. So I'm amped. I'm excited about this new month. And I'm just ready to make money. I'm ready to face all my challenges from last month. I'm just all about progress. It feels really good. I'm like last week you were talking to me about you mentioned activities, like instead of measuring like having money goals, activity
Mm-hmm.
goals is where it's at. And like you've said it to me before, but it resonated. I meant to tell you this the other day. It resonated because I am going to focus on generating out certain activities that will get me to the goal. So I'm excited about that because then how can you lose? Like
Yep.
lose. Yep. So that's me. I'm good.
I love it. I'm doing good as well. I don't know, like the energy has been high lately around me. I've been feeling it. I've been exuding it. Um, Something about I feel like a gear switch for me too, right? You know, like sometimes you just hear something or you have a certain conversation and a couple of days later, like everything just like click, click, click. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
just how I feel. Click, click, click. And so what clicked for me is I kind of now really understand like the vision for like the content that I want to share or just how I want my business to be in general. Like I want to focus on impact and I want to focus on value and I want to focus on passion. That's it. I want to be passionate about the value I share and the impact that I have. And for some reason, that shift, like saying it in that sentence,
Mm-hmm.
like that just started to make everything make sense. It's like the things that I do. Why do I share stuff on Instagram? I feel like sometimes when we share stuff on social media, it feels like it just falls by the wayside. Like nobody acknowledges it, and you don't feel like it's really helping anybody, and you don't even remember why you put it out, and now you want to delete it, right? Because it's not giving you the results you want.
Mm-hmm.
And that shift in perspective is like this is going to provide value to anybody it literally come across, and I can't control who will come across, and I want it to come across anybody who's going to provide a positive impact to, and that's what his intention is. And I think sometimes we need to stick on the intention or the action versus the result or the accomplished goal that we want.
You know what's so interesting, Tiara? So it sounds like instead of it, you're posting content for your business being activity or task driven, you're now focusing on impact driven. So
Yes.
regardless of how many likes, who views it, you are intentional about the content you put out. So it's not about, okay, it just falls by the wayside. Regardless of when it catches traction, when people look at it, the energy is there. And so
Right.
that is powerful. And like I'm on the opposite end where I'm like, I was just focused on these monetary goals, but I don't have necessarily a roadmap. But if I have activity goals that are connected to the monetary outcomes, then it
Mm,
works. So it's interesting how, business owners can have different focuses and achieve equal success at
yes.
the right season or the type of business you're in. So you have impact goals. And that makes a
Hmm.
difference. You could probably have more enjoyment with creating the content, and regardless of when it catches on or when people look at it, it will live on forever and have the impact that you want versus it falling by the wayside. So I love that.
Yes, it's something about that perspective switch that just does it for me.
Mm-hmm.
But this episode, I really wanted to talk about betting on yourself as an entrepreneur. Like, First of all, honestly, entrepreneurship is betting on yourself, right? We always talk about this. You're literally, if you are full time, then you're removing yourself from the security of a 9 to 5 and literally putting yourself, and even if you're part time, but just literally putting yourself in the lion's den of, I need to believe in myself so much, believe in my service, believe in my product, believe in my results, believe in my knowledge and my expertise and my skill set so much that somebody else, you know what I'm saying, is
Mm.
going to like, purchase it or whatever. So that's one thing that like I've really learned or like had to hone in on with entrepreneurship is like you have to bet on yourself. You have to put yourself in uncomfortable positions. You have to take opportunities that you see you come across and you think is going to be there and you wait till tomorrow. No, you need to take them today. Like you need to believe in yourself so much that whatever you set forth is going to be good for you, whether it's a lesson or a pile of money. You know it's going to be good for you, right?
Right, right. That's important. And I think betting on yourself requires risk.
Yeah.
And if you're in entrepreneurship, any form of business ownership, you have to take chances. Otherwise, like, how do you make money? How do you compete with people who are offering the same or similar products and services? And you have to push yourself. There's no one that you report to telling you what to do and how to do it. There's no standard operating procedures of what to do. You have to be self-motivated to get up and create and believe that it's possible, because when you start a business, you don't have any revenue immediately, but you
Right.
believe that you will, and so you believe that your abilities, your creativity, your skill level will get you there. And so that level of confidence is like, you have to come out of the gate with that, and then you get beat up a little bit in the world.
Right.
and and either businesses fail because they don't stay in the game, or they just become refined and even better. And I think
Yeah.
that's what's happening with us now. Like, we're not like squeaky new anymore. We have experienced all sorts of things along the way so far, and we're becoming more refined. But that means we have to continue to bet on ourselves,
Yep.
because it's so many times we have the feelings of throwing in the towel, but we
Hmm.
we know it's not an option. We're committed, but we also believe in ourselves enough to continue on.
Yeah, and that is just very important, like you said. Figuring out like where you want to be in the marketplace. I feel like that was something for me. It was like, all right, I'm in here. It's a whole bunch of wedding officiants. Maybe it's not a whole lot of Black women, but they do exist. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And so, how can I find my unique value in the marketplace? Like, how can I figure out what I can bring to the market that's different than the person next to me or the person who kind of sort of looks like me or someone with 20 years experience, right? How am I supposed to stand up against that person as like a newbie? And one of the ways that I felt like, okay, if I'm going to get out there, if I'm going to really like grow this business, I have to build confidence within myself. And the only way I know how to build confidence is with knowledge.
Mm.
I'm always going to be in a webinar, trying to get some information, reading some blogs, some stats. Like I'm always trying to combat whatever, you know, fears I have about putting myself out there with knowing I have the information. I know I got the solution. I
Mm.
know I do. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Mhm.
know I do. I know I have the solution to your problem. And so another way that I really double down on betting on myself is when I see opportunities, I take them. I try to get in the rooms with people who are far further than me. And I know that feels very scary to people. I know that's scary.
Listen, you was like that from day one. You are sliding a person's DM in a hot minute.
Okay.
You will brag on yourself. You were the first person I ever heard say brag on yourself in a
Yes.
way that's positive.
Hmm.
And you will be like, I'm in any Zoom masterminds, you're like, I'm Tiara Bryant, and this is what I do, this is who I am, and I
Yep.
matter and I belong here. I love it.
So important. It's
Mhm.
so important. And so Like for me, when I really doubled down with, listen, 10 toes deep, okay, in this wedding industry, I came across an opportunity that I thought was a long shot for me, honestly. I came across my fellowship is called the Fellowship for Change, the 2023 with Wedding Pro, which is Wedding More Than Not, the biggest, wedding directory in the world. And they had a specific fellowship program for underrepresented wedding pros who are in the first 5 years of their business. And it was free to apply. And not only did they offer you mentorship, education, a cohort that you go with, but they also offer free advertising on their platform for a year, which
Wow.
my first year of business, I did advertise on Wedding Wire and the Knot, and I paid that hefty $3,000 price in
You
my
did
first
wait
year.
to
Yes,
advertise?
absolutely. So the way that they have it is, it's a monthly it's a monthly subscription
Hmm.
to advertise on their directory, but you're still like your monthly subscription is still a contract. So I'm paying 250 a month, but my contract is 250 a month for 12 months, which equal out to 3,000. And you got to sign a dotted line. So in that moment, it's so
That's a lot.
scary to think, yes, like I just started this. Yes, I've created some type of buzz. Yes, I've gotten a couple of dollars here in this like business and this skill set, but like, am I going to be able to pay $3,000? Like, am I going to be able to generate 3,000 plus dollars of revenue to pay for this one like business expense, liability?
Hmm.
And do I love wedding officiating that much to do that? And clearly the answer was yes, because I did it. And because I did it, I got, a lot of information and newsletters. So when that opportunity, that program came across, I'm like, what is the worst that can happen? I paid my dues, okay? Literally and figuratively. I paid into this business $3,000. I get all of these additional perks, and this will definitely help me really refine who I am as a wedding officiant and really find my unique place within the market because I'm having this like expert advice from these wedding pros who have been in business for 20 years, who I'll probably have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to get the information that I'm getting now.
Hmm.
Plus, we get education like literally just for us, and I ain't gotta pay $3,000 again. Oh, I'm betting on myself. Like I'm a fill out the application. Whatever I gotta do, I'm putting this information in, and I filled it out. And I had to wait probably like was it 3 months? Like 2 to 3 months before I got an answer. But your girl got in.
That's amazing. That's amazing. All because
And
you believe that you could. I mean, because some people could have looked at that and been like, I'm sure this is like such a prominent program, and I'm new at this. What are the chances? And
I
you
felt like
know,
that.
that's amazing.
I felt like who would not apply for this? Even if you're not sure if you want to do weddings, like who would not? It's such a great opportunity. It goes out to everyone who ever did any event with them, right? They're on their email list. So now in my head, I'm like, I'm going up against, half of America.
Yeah.
And it's like in terms of like submissions and stuff like that. Like, and it took a decent time for me to even get a response. Like at some point I was just like, okay, well what if I don't get it? Like, no, it's not the end of the world, but everything that I imagined that this program would bring me, I wouldn't be able to experience. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So made me a little sad, but it was just like, all right, you just gotta keep hope, keep hope, keep hope. You applied for a reason. You saw it for a reason. You put in the energy and effort for a reason. And I mean, hey, here we are.
I think that's part of the win. When you apply to stuff that may seem like a long shot, you see yourself worthy enough to put, by chance get selected and
Mm,
do it anyway. I think, and then you don't get accepted. Yes, that's a major letdown, but it's so many people that probably saw that opportunity and thought maybe it's too big, maybe it's not right now,
right.
maybe they don't have enough experience, maybe the people in the room will know more than them, and then they passed it up and they could be potentially selected. So it's not, I don't think it's always about luck and chance. It's about being prepared. It's about knowing your worth
Yeah.
and doing your part. And then I believe God will cover and fill in all the gaps, create the bridge to get you there. And if it
Yeah.
wasn't that opportunity, it would have been another one. It would just
I
it. That's
agree.
just how it goes. And that has been my experience, because when when I started my business, I was doing mobile notary loan signings, as you guys already know. And then the market began to change. I wasn't getting as many loan signings, and I didn't love it anyway. I just wanted the money. I kind of
Mm-hmm.
was thrusted into self-employment, and I heard about apostles. I knew how lucrative it was. I couldn't seem to understand it, regardless of the different trainings I received. I got a lot of surface level technical training on how to do it, but I didn't know how to build an actual business. And I'm thinking, I'm not making a lot of money. I'm going to have to get a job. I don't want to get a job. I love the flexibility that business ownership affords me. And I know I have so much potential to and value to give the marketplace. And I know I have, no ceiling of income that I could make. I just got to
Mm-hmm.
figure out what that looks like. So I could already see that I have the capabilities. I just didn't know what I was doing, and I need some guidance and direction. And I came across the Apostle Academy on Instagram, led by Cam Combs, and she was posting reels about how she teaches, business owners how to build an apostle business. And she focused on like building the business and also teaching the actual skill of processing apostles for clients. And her price point was higher than, those lower level grab and go self-paced courses. I was like, dang, her stuff expensive. And then I saw her on a couple of interviews, and a Black woman, very, very successful, but also very down to earth. And she literally
Mm-hmm.
was like talking to me. She was just like, she told her story, her challenges. She has children. She's had trials in her life. And I'm like, if this woman can teach me how to process apostles and build a business, and I can learn it, I'm going to be successful. Period.
Yeah.
Like, I know I can. I just need the support to get me there. And it literally was my last ditch effort before I'm like, okay, Corinne, going back to your good government job, get some applications, get your
Mm-hmm.
resume ready, and just start that. And I'm like, I'm just going to give it a shot. And you know how if it's your last shot and you have a minimal amount of money in your bank account, and you're like, are you crazy? You better hold on to this.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
And with business ownership, you spend so much. You spend so much on every little thing, subscriptions, trainings, and then you get the whole shiny object syndrome, where you're hopping around in different hustles until you waste money too. And so by this time, I'm like, got to work. It has to work. And so because I knew it had to work, and I knew I was intentional about the coaching program I was joining, it was no option for it to fail. I was nervous, but I just believed that with my work ethic, with me, maximizing everything from this coaching program, if nothing else, I'm going to get my money back from the business that I gained. And
Right.
so, but I did DM her, and I'm like, okay, so this is my last ditch effort. So I just needed her to say something in her DM to me to convince me that this is right. Cause I'm like, I'm nervous. And she told me, you will not have to go to work. You will be home with your children. Just trust the process. And I was like, she really said
Mm.
that to me. That's a big thing to say to potential students, because,
Right.
coaching programs don't want to promise you anything. Half of the journey is the student's work. Like that, they have to produce. The teacher gives, but the student has to implement. And I'm like, for her to say that, she doesn't know me. She's confident in what she can offer her students. And so I swiped that card. I paid for that coaching program. I did one-on-ones with her. I attended the classes, self-paced live, all of that. But I was getting up at 4:30 every morning just to get more hours in my day while my daughter was asleep, before I get her ready from school. And I was implementing everything she was telling me, from rebranding my business, figuring out my target market, studying all the videos that she had, the self-paced courses, like learning it
Mm-hmm.
like a new language. I put in so much time in the beginning, and I wasn't trying to like put in the time like so I can prove to myself I was working hard. I just believed that I could be successful in this. And
Wow.
part of the motivation was I spent all that damn money. So it has. And so I don't think I've ever bet on myself like that before. I don't think I've ever worked that hard only for me. I've worked very
Mm-hmm.
hard for jobs, like selflessly, ridiculously, don't get a thank you, but I just believe so much in my role or the company. And I believe every day I got up, and I'm not a morning person like that. So to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and start my day, and I have hours before the rest of my house rises, and I was putting in the work. And then before I knew it, like I had a website up, I had my business, like I was open for business, and all I had to do was continue a certain level of process like marketing, advertising, all of that kind of stuff, just continue to learn the process, and the business began to come. And I'll say within a month or so, I got my money back. And I
I know
and
that's right.
I am running a viable business, and it's all because, for one, I had a phenomenal coach, but more importantly, I believed that it was going to work.
Yep.
Even though I was afraid, even though I was nervous, I still put in the work. I still got up every day, put 2 feet on the floor, and made me some coffee and sat at my computer and knocked out my activities for whatever I needed to do to build my business. And looking back, like sometimes I'm thinking like I should be getting up at 4 o'clock now, because I know clearly that's what it takes. You believe enough in yourself that no matter how tired you are, no matter how discouraged you feel, you just keep going, because you know you're your own ticket to be successful.
Hmm. And that is betting on yourself. You know you are your only ticket to being successful.
Because nobody was coming to save me. And what I love so much about my coach is that I initially came into it thinking I want to replicate whatever she's done. Whatever she did, I'm going to do that. And so I'm going to match the success if I just do whatever she does. And she never coached me that way. She always put the question back on me like, well, what do you think? What do you want to do? You walk me through your process. What is your prices? How
Yeah.
do you see it? What are your customers like? And it would be frustrating because I wasn't originally trying to think for myself. I just wanted the blueprint. I will do the work. Just tell me what
Hmm.
to do. And it has empowered me so much. Like, it has enhanced my confidence more than me just being motivated to do the work. Now I actually, what I'm trying to say is that she taught me how to think. Like, I
Okay.
know how to make decisions for myself when there are no answers. And it has
Mm.
made me a better apostle agent, because that's essentially what we do. We solve our clients' problems. So whenever a client comes to me and say, because every client situation is unique, they always have a different circumstance, timeline, documents, country associated with them. And no matter what it is, it doesn't feel like, oh God, what do I do here? I'm like, okay, I have a framework to solving their problems. I have a framework to fixing holes in my business, because that's the way she coached me. And I
Right.
think because I believed in myself in the beginning, and I said I am going to take my last few dollars and reinvest in my abilities instead of look for a job, and I'm going to follow it up with the same amount of work and energy. That's why I think I was successful.
Mm. I love that. I love that. And I agree with you. I think, like you said, you are the only one that can save you. And when you put yourself in these amazing opportunities, you want to make sure that you maximize on your end. And that includes, being courageous, being bold, doing it scared. That includes putting your ego aside, putting your pride aside, and being teachable. And that includes having just confidence that whatever path you on, if you see it through, if you do the work, if you complete the actions, you're going to accomplish goals that you didn't even set for yourself, honey. You're like, this was my goal. My goal was 2,500. I don't know how I got to 4,000. That was even the goal I set, but
And
your activity got you there.
And what happens is, once you see something amazing like that happens, it gives you evidence of what's to come. So it's
Yep.
like, okay, I don't have to guess at this anymore. I know I can do it because I've done it. Here's the evidence. So when you start dreaming bigger, you're like, okay, that's scary, but I've done scary before, and look at the outcomes. So then that's how people grow and expand. And when they get to different levels of success, people are like, how'd you do it? I think it became exponential. It fed on the last win. It fed on the
Yep.
last loss. It fed on the fact that you remain resilient. And
Yep.
I promise you, I was not talking like this a year ago, because I didn't have enough evidence. I didn't have enough
Hmm.
blood, sweat, and tears that I put into this. I didn't have enough loss.
Yeah.
And now that I've had that, I'm like, okay. every time there's a setback, every time, the money looking a little funny, that does not mean things are falling apart. That just means we're growing and stretching. And it sounds so
Hmm.
cliche, but I'm living proof.
Well, I always say this, the only difference between a cliche and an affirmation is action.
Mm,
So it sounds cliche until you do it, then you live in proof,
that's it. That's
period.
it. Mm-hmm.
So we really appreciate y'all, of course, checking out this episode. Welcome to another Womenomics Wednesday. We are so excited for this topic and just everything that we have put out for season 3. We thank you. So if you want to share a time that you bet on yourself, of course, we want you to drop it in the comments so we can congratulate you, cheer you on, and you can inspire somebody else who is watching and reading the comments. And we love you. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Peace, y'all. See you next week.